Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopiyana Vallava Girivaradhari. Gopiyana Vallava Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopiyana Vallava Girivaradhari. purport. The entire social structure of Varna and Ashrama is a cooperative system meant to uplift all to the highest platform of spiritual realization. The Brahmanas are intended to be protected by the Kshatriyas, and the Kshatriyas also are intended to be enlightened by the Brahmanas. When the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas cooperate nicely, the other subordinate divisions, the Vaishyas or mercantile people, and the Sudras or laborer class automatically flourish. The entire elaborate system of Vedic society was therefore based on the importance of the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. The Lord is a real protector, but He is unattached to the affairs of protection. He creates Brahmanas for the protection of the Kshatriyas, and Kshatriyas for the protection of the Brahmanas. He remains aloof from all activities. Therefore, He is called Nirvikar, without activity. He has nothing to do. He is so great that He does not perform action personally, but His energies act. The Brahmanas and Kshatriyas and anything we see are different energies acting upon one another. Although individual souls are all different, the super self or super soul is a supreme personality of Godhead. Individually, oneself may differ from others in certain qualities and may engage in different activities, such as those of a Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya. But when there is a complete cooperation among different individual souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Super Soul, Paramatma, being one in every individual soul, is pleased and gives them all protection. As stated before, the Brahmanas are produced from the mouth of the Lord, and the Kshatriyas are produced from the chest or arms of the Lord. If the different castes of social sections, although apparently differently occupied in different activities, nevertheless act in full cooperation, then the Lord is pleased. This is the idea of the institution of 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas. If the members of different Ashramas and Varnas cooperate fully in Krishna consciousness, then society is well protected by the Lord without a doubt. In Bhagavad Gita it is stated that the Lord is the proprietor of all different bodies. The individual soul is the proprietor of his individual body, but the Lord clearly states, my dear Bharata, you must know that I am also a Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna means the knower or proprietor of the body. The individual soul is the proprietor of the body, individual body, but the super soul, the personality of Godhead Krishna, is the proprietor of all bodies everywhere. He is the proprietor not only of human bodies, but of birds, beasts, and other living entities. Not only on this planet, but in other planets also. He is a supreme proprietor. Therefore, He does not become divided by protecting the different individual souls. He remains one and the same. That the sun appears on top of everyone's head when at the meridian does not imply that the sun becomes divided. One man thinks that the sun is on his head only, whereas 5,000 miles away, another man is thinking that the sun is only on his head. Similarly, the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead, is one but appears to individually oversee each individual soul. This does not mean that individual soul and the super soul are one. They are one in quality as spirit soul, but the individual soul and the super soul are different. Wow, Prabhupada is so brilliant. Om Jnanatimiram Dasya Gyanangana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadam Tikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Taptakam Chana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vasamyaham Yatrayano Vimugdo Mugdhai Mathai Lokani Haivaduke Kripa Maye Tvat Karune Naradhe Sandarsayishyami Yanayathatvam. Ato hi anyonyang atmanam brahmakshatram cha rakshataha rakshati smabhyayo deva sayat sad asad atmakaha. That is why the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas protect each other as well as themselves. And the Lord Himself, who is both the cause and effect, and yes, He is immutable, protects them through each other. So here is Manu explaining the importance of this Varnashrama system. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that the system of Varnashrama was created by Him. Chaturvarnya Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhaga Saha, according to the quality of and karma of every living entity. So sometimes some people think, when I ever noticed this so when we are out on book distributions, sometimes some people have read Bhagavad Gita, and so they misunderstand the system of Varnashram Dharma. They think that is there to Brahmana, there is a Kshatriya, there is Vaishyas, etc. But anyone can be whatever they want, So, and we see especially it's becoming very prominent in Kali Yuga. But in the 7th canto, Narad Muni explains that it's according to the qualities. It's not by birth. It's not what to speak of mental speculation or one's manufacturation. That nowadays so many people, they claim to be like especially Kshatriyas. Many people want to be administrators or presidents or all these ministers, but they don't have the qualities. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that the qualities of a Kshatriya are Sauryam Teyo Dhritir Dakshyam Yudesha Apalayanam. That it's a heroism, there is determination, there is Dana Isharo Bhavasha, there is leadership, there is bravery in battlefield, Chatra Karma Swabhavayam. These are the qualities of the Kshatriyas. Nowadays we don't see any of those qualities in our leaders. They call themselves as leaders, but actually they don't know the real purpose of human life, what to speak of the purpose of following Varnashram Dharma. And in the Vishnu Purana, it is said that the Varnashram system is meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Varnashrama Sharavata Purushena Parapumam Vishnu Aradate Panta Nanyatastosha Karanat. That this system of Varnashram Dharma is meant to please Lord Vishnu. Nanyata Tosha Karanam. So by worshipping Vishnu through this following the system of Varnashram Dharma, one can please him and attain perfection. So this is the real purpose of Varnashram Dharma. It's not like one becomes a Kshatriya or a Brahman according to his own whims, and then he doesn't know how to act properly, and then he indulges in so many other sinful activities like nowadays we see. Especially the Kshatriyas, as Prabhupada says in the purport, are meant to protect not only the Brahmanas, but also all the living entities, including the animals. This is because the very word Kshatriya means one who protects. So the Kshatriya is meant for protection. It's not meant for enjoying, to levy taxes and then enjoy the fruit of all, all the workers and the subjects, and they can enjoy such fruits. No, they have to protect. In times of calamities, in times of war, in times of necessity, they have to protect the citizens. So that is the purpose of being a Kshatriya. Nowadays we see, and also they have to receive knowledge from the Brahmanas. That's what Prabhupada mentioned here, that they both protect each other. Because the way that the Brahmanas are protected by, the Kshatriyas are protected by the Brahmanas is through transcendental knowledge. Because the Brahmanas, the qualities of the Brahmanas are Samo, Damo, Tapas, Saucham, Chantir, Arjavan, Evacha, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikam, Brahma Karma, Swabhavaya. So the Brahmana, the real Brahmana, he engages in self-control, in control of the senses, control of the mind. He austerity, he engages in knowledge, application, practical application of that knowledge, astigyan, faith in the scripture. So through these activities, they have to protect their kshatriyas, because the kshatriyas generally are not so self-controlled. There sometimes they are very, because kshatriya means that you are influenced by both sattva guna and raya guna. So sometimes they become a little agitated. So that is the kshatriya spirit. There is what is the best example in Bhagavatam of a young kshatriya who could not tolerate insult, and then he just went out. Who's that example? Yeah, Maharaj. There are many examples. That one, yeah. Dhruva Maharaj, he left. Yeah. Aho, I say a young, very young. Yeah, Aho, what's the verse? Aho teyo kshatriyanam manas bhangang amrisyatang. So Narad Muni is saying, just see the powerful spirit of the kshatriyas, that they cannot tolerate even a little infringement upon their pride or their prestige. So the kshatriyas sometimes they act very, so they get agitated, and they sometimes they don't control their senses, and they act. I'm not gonna say impiously, but sometimes without thinking twice. So that's why they generally take shelter of, this is the Vedic system, that they have to take shelter of the brahmanas, who are completely self-controlled, and also they are very knowledgeable. They know what to do and what not to do. And nowadays there is no brahmanas and there is no qualified kshatriyas. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, pravriting cha nivriting cha janana vidurasura, that these demons, the demons in Kali Yuga, they don't know what to do and what not to do. And this is very evident. And I will say also the religious people in Kali Yuga also don't know what to do and what not to do. So the other day we were in Houston and preaching to the Arabic, and sometimes we meet some people that they are very religious, or they claim to be very religious and followers of their scriptures and stuff like that. So we met one person that he claimed to be really follower of the Quran and very religious. And so when we approached him, he was talking so many nice things and mashallah, mashallah, all these different things. And then I asked him, well, what do you do for a living? And then he say, well, I am a butcher. And I was like, wow, okay. So so this butchering is not really a good activity, because all the animals, they're also, the goddess is also in the heart of the animals. And then he say, yeah, but we do halal. Halal is a very specific way of killing, of sacrificing the animals. Actually, he say, we do halal, and halal is the Muslim way. It's very nice way of killing the animal, which means that the animal is placed in a certain position, and then they introduce the knife in a certain position, and then he doesn't cry as much as other animals, and then the blood have to come down in a specific way. It's rules and regulations. But this is called halal. And he claimed to be a follower of religion, And so we didn't waste time trying to explain him the purpose of religion, because he was very stubborn. Instead, we just, because somehow he was quite favorable to the books, we just asked him, okay, it's okay, give some money, that's it. So he gave a nice donation, and we gave him the books. Yeah, but that is an example of how even a person that claim to be religious and preachers of God consciousness, they're also bewildered by ignorance, by the ignorance that prevails in Kali Yuga, and therefore they cannot protect kshatriyas. And kshatriyas, being devoid of transcendental knowledge or even material knowledge, proper knowledge, and having a position of power, they engage in so many horrible activities. And that's why we see that Kali Yuga is becoming such a glorious age where everyone is killing each other. Therefore, sometimes they say, some people, they claim that, okay, well, you say that there is the existence of God, but there is a lot of things going on in the world. So why God doesn't calm down, or why He doesn't protect, people? And Prabhupada explains very nice in the purport that unless Kshatriyas and Brahmanas cooperate, with each other, therefore, without Brahmanas and Kshatriyas cooperating each other, there cannot be any peace in this material world. It's impossible. One may try, in so many varieties of, forms to get peace. Just like Prabhupada many times used to say that they have created these, what is it called? Union Nations, or what is it called? United Nations. Thank you, Prabhu. They created that, but every year we see that there is another flag. So instead of becoming united, they become scattered and split out. So this is because there's no cooperation, and the Kshatriya should know the purpose of religion, and he should know that the goal of life is Nate Vidu Swarta Gating Hi Vishnum, to attain the lotus feet of Vishnu. And we will see later in this, it's in the fourth chapter, in the fourth canto. In the pastime of Prithu Maharaj, there is a very nice description of the principles of religion from the mouth of a Kshatriya. When Vishnu, Lord Vishnu is talking to him, and then he also talking to him, it's a conversation between Vishnu and Prithu Maharaj. So there's a nice explanation of the principles that Kshatriya should follow. And I remember one of the main things that I will never forget reading this is that the Kshatriya is meant to protect the citizens and make sure not only that everyone is engaged according to his occupational, his quality in the Varnashram system, but also the Kshatriya should have to make sure that every living entity is engaged in devotional service of the Lord. That is the real Kshatriya, a Raya Rishi, a saintly person. Nowadays, completely, we are living in such a crazy society that that this cannot be understood by our leaders. I was talking some time ago when I went to Cuba with a person who has some kind of power, and I was trying to explain him that the problems that we have, especially in that country, are due to mismanaging, and people on top position, on higher position, don't know the real meaning of life. And I was explaining in different things that how the leader should protect not only the subject, but also he should protect the animals. He should make sure that even the snakes, they're getting proper food, and he have to make sure that in every school, the boys are learning A, B, C, D, but also they are learning about spirit and matters, because I told him that the body is temporary, we're not the body. So I was explaining all of that, and then he said that this is very impractical, because we have to, as a leader, our only purpose is to make business with other countries and increase, economic development, basically. He said that that's a real purpose of a Kshatriya. At least he got a book. Well, I hope he will read it and one day be blessed by Krishna. So we see also in 10th canto of Bhagavatam that Krishna himself, he set the example of a Kshatriya. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that Krishna has nothing to do. He doesn't have anything to do. He just comes, and whatever he does is perfect, because he's nirvikara. Prabhupada explained, we uses the word nirvikara, that without activity means that without material activity. Therefore, he does not accrue karma, resultant karma. So whatever he does is perfect. Still, anytime Krishna comes down, he follows the principles of religion. And, when he descends sometimes as a Kshatriya, we have the best example right here, in Dwarkadish. So when we read his activities in the 10th canto, there is one particular pastime when he is kind of feeling bewildered or confused. whether how to act. He, they was in the middle of two situations, and at that time he realized that, oh, let me take shelter of Uddhava. So he's not acting on his own, although he can, because he's a Supreme Lord. He's following the Vedic system. He's taking shelter of a minister, of a person who has knowledge, who knows what to do, what not to do. And actually, Sukadeva Goswami describes, this is the introduction of Uddhava, more or less. And Sukadeva Goswami describes it very beautifully. He said that Uddhavo pravaro mantri Krishna syadayita saka shaksha brihaspate shishyo Uddhavo buddhisattamaha. So he said that because one may say, okay, Krishna is taking shelter of Uddhava because he's his friend. So he said, Krishna dayita saka. One might think, oh, this is kind of, sense gratification. I'll take shelter of my friend because he will tell me whatever I want to hear. But it's not the case. It is a Sakshat Brihaspati Shishya, that he is the disciple of Brihaspati. And this is very remarkable because Brihaspati is the demigod is the spiritual master of all the demigods. And he has unlimited, like millions and millions of 33 millions of disciples. But he personally taught Uddhava. So Uddhava is not an ordinary person. He's a person who really knows, the purpose of religion. He knows everything. And so there was this passage when, it's a long story, but when we all know the story for sure. When Jarasandha wanted to sacrifice so many kings, hundreds of thousands of kings in the Mahavairavya Yajna. He wanted to kill them and offer them to Lord Shiva. And then at that time, the king sent a message to Krishna so that, Krishna would come and save them. And so there was a Rayasuya Yajna, more or less at the same time. So Krishna didn't know what to do, whether we go to the Rayasuya Yajna or, we just go and save the kings first. And then he was kind of, trapped within this dilemma. And then at that time he realized, okay, I shall take shelter of Uddhava because he really knows what to do and not to do. So this is a real Kshatriya. The Kshatriya takes shelter of superiors, takes shelter of one who has, one who have knowledge. Because Brahmana means Brahmanatiti iti Brahmana. Brahmayanatiti Brahmana, one who knows Brahman, one who knows how to act in this world. So he took shelter, and then Uddhava told him, okay, you should go and kill Jarasandha first, so that you can save all the princes and also kill him, and then you can come to the Rayasuya Yajna. Otherwise, if you don't kill Jarasandha, the Rayasuya Yajna cannot be performed, because the Rayasuya Yajna can be only performed by a king who has defeated all the kings, and Yudhishthira didn't defeat Jarasandha. So Jarasandha had to die first in order that, that the Rayasuya Yajna be successful. So at that time he was free of illusion, free of doubt, and that's when they went to the city of Jarasandha and they killed him. So in essence, this is why Krishna has created the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas and other Varnas and Ashramas to protect each other. The same is happening in the spiritual society. The Grihastas, the Brahmacharis, the Sannyas, and the Vanaprastha. So the Sannyasis, they should protect others, because they should be supposed to be spiritually advanced. So they have to give spiritual protection, especially to householders who are very closely dealing with the material energy, because they have to work out, they have to meet so many things in the material world, and therefore they need that shelter. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Chaitanya Shikshamrita explains that this is a very important stage in Krishna consciousness for every living entity, for every devotee. Not only the sannyasis, but also brahmacharis and grihastas and vanaprasthas who are advancing devotees. He said that they have to give shelter, they have to give spiritual shelter. So he compares them with the development of a child. He said that when the child is born, He's very tender, very soft, very weak. So he has to be always, on the lap of his mother. He has to be, taking care like that. So similarly, when we come to spiritual society, we're also very weak. We don't know, you know, what to do, what not to do. We have doubt whether Krishna exists or not. We don't recognize who true spirit the master is. So we have all these, weaknesses, and also so many desires in the heart, and the call of Maya is very loud within our consciousness, and so we have to, have that protection, just like that boy, baby boy. But then as the baby boy grows, he begins to associate him with another, young boys like 4 or 5 years old. And at that time, similarly, the devotee who is advancing, he start associating with, peers. And then they start sharing their realizations and so on and so forth. And then there is a stage when the child grows more and he attains, let's say, like high school. And then at that time, sometimes he's entitled to take care of, little ones or juniors. I remember when I was like 12, 13 years old, I have so many cousins and my brother, and sometimes I have to take care of them, and that was crazy, But somehow my mother or uncles or aunts, hey, you have to take care of, him because we have to do such and such things. It doesn't happen too much in this country, but you see that a lot in Latin American countries. Anyway, so at that time in the spiritual society, when a devotee is quite advanced or he's advancing, he has to provide shelter to others, to juniors that are coming to Krishna consciousness. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained that this is a very important stage for the development of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we cannot, he explains, we cannot develop our spiritual ego. So we kind of get stuck, in our path. So that is a very, he explains so many things. This book, Chaitanya Shikshamrita, is amazing. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a genius also. Okay, so yeah, this is more or less the essence of this purpose, that Krishna creates the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas to protect each other. And unless we attain the qualities, Brahminical qualities in this case, because Prabhupada wanted and his devotees to attain Brahminical qualities, because Brahmana is much needed nowadays in Kali Yuga, to go out and spread transcendental knowledge. So we have to try to come to the platform of those who are twice initiated. We should come to that platform of Brahminical qualities when we develop control of the senses, when we develop control of the mind, develop faith in the scripture, simplicity, austerity, and so on and so forth. And in this way, we will be empowered to preach and to give knowledge to the masses, especially those who are in administrative positions. And by so doing, well, Krishna can then protect the entire material world. Okay, I'll end right here. If there is any question or comments, yes, Prabhu. Sachitanoi Prabhu. Sachitanoi. I'm just offering my obeisances to you. No, I'm saying that I was just offering my pranams to you.
Uddhava himself told Lord Krishna, my dear Lord,
Mm.
how is it? You're not bewildered, you know everything. You're just asking me to do this in a mood of humility. So my understanding is that in this particular time, Lord Krishna actually wants to be ready and engage his devotee to do this witnessing mission. There is certain times in which Krishna actually appears to be bewildered. He's mentioned in the book, like for example, when he's having a fight with Salva. In that moment, he said that for one moment Krishna became bewildered. He said it.
Yeah.
In that particular time, it was mentioned that Krishna was a little bit bewildered just for a few seconds. But in this particular past time, is that Uddhava himself is telling him, my dear Lord, you know everything. Why are you asking me this? Just to show humility, sometimes Krishna does certain things. Just as the case in when Ashvatthama also was, he was captured, and Bhima go kill him, and then Krishna, you have to kill him, and then Draupadi doesn't want. So Krishna told Arjuna, no, Arjuna, what are you going to do now? You have to do certain thing in which you satisfy everyone. So Krishna knows everything, but sometimes he just gives the.
Yeah, that's his lila.
Or when Bhishmadev was, instructing also King Yudhishthira when he was confused and bewildered. Krishna could have done that, but he wants to give credit to his devotees sometimes. So I don't know if when you were reading that pastime, he says bewildered or.
I don't remember. I read it.
That's what I'm saying. So.
Yeah. Well, but you say you read it, so now you're clarifying. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Kishore Gopinath, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the for the very nice class. I had a particular question about, like, the, I guess you could say, perverted reflections of Daivi Varnashram. Like, do the asuras, do they take roles as brahmanas and kshatriyas?
Can you repeat it?
Do the asuras take take roles as brahmanas and kshatriyas?
Yeah, of course.
Could you explain how their system works?
Well, I don't really know how the system is actually in detail, but we see in the pages of Bhagavatam how Shukracharya, for example, who's the appointed guru of all the demons, he's mentioned as a brahmana. He's mentioned in many occasions. He's known as a brahmana, and even the demons like Hiranyakashipu, they also, or Bali Maharaj, they also go and take shelter of him. So they also have kind of understanding of the Varnashram Dharma, but most of the time they just follow their whims, and because of their gurus, they're materialistic. We have to understand that their gurus are, in most of the cases, they are materialistic gurus. Just like there is Vipra, but there is Brahmana. So the Vipra, the difference between the two is that the Brahma Yanatiti Brahmana. The Brahmana is the person who is engaged in spiritual activity. So he is a guru, and he teaches, just like our gurus, that they teaches spiritual things. But the Vipra is that Brahmana who is engaged in karma kanda. So he knows, like, if you do this sacrifice, you go to heaven. If you do this, you will kill Bali Maharaj, you will kill Indra, or you will get this, or you will get that. So these are Vipras. So there is a difference between the two. So generally, although they are these demons or the asuras, the brahmanas, they may have some self-control, or they have some qualities, because especially in previous ages, like in Satya Yuga or Treta Yuga, these were great personalities. They could do heavy austerities, that we cannot do. So Hiranyakashipu, though he was not a brahmana, he performed severe austerity. Nobody can do such austerity nowadays. So they have kind of understanding of this system of Varnashram Dharma, but they become bewildered. Actually, I was reading last night, the Krishna speaking to Uddhava in the 11th canto, and he explains, it's in the chapter called The Nature of Fruitive Activities. I think it's the 14th chapter, or 13, 14, something like that, or 10. Anyway, so he explains that because many people, those who do not fully take shelter of him, of his lotus feet, they're always bewildered by Maya, and they act, upon their wings. So they think, they may read a scripture, but they interpret the scripture on their own ways. And they as a result, they preach what they think is better for others. So this is what happens sometimes with the demons, that they're so bewildered by Maya that they don't know how to act. So therefore Krishna says this verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Pravritin cha nivritin cha. They don't know what to do and what not to do. So but the system is there, and it was followed in previous ages, but it's becoming, degraded and degraded until now in Kali Yuga has completely collapsed. There is no such thing as Varnashram Dharma nowadays in society. But they do know, yeah.
Can I make one comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely no Varnashram system now. It's completely collapsed. But still, even though it's all whimsical, you can't escape these orders. That even now, although everyone's Shudras, there's still a supposed intelligent class. There's still, politicians and administrators and military. There's still people engaged in economic development, and there's still people who are just doing very menial service. So it's just amazing that even when it's not being followed properly, Krishna's system, something still happens, some perverted
Yeah, because the
reflection
thing is that
there.
some qualities are there, Somebody, he's born with some qualities of a Kshatriya, but that doesn't mean that he's a perfect Kshatriya. He may have some leadership qualities. Okay, let's just go ahead, let's kill, the Russians or free Palestine, So these people, they have, qualities of leadership, but because they don't know what is the real meaning of being a Kshatriya, so therefore they misled the entire, they become bewildered themselves, and they misled the entire population. Yeah, but the qualities are also there, because we're persons. Person means that there is quality in that person. And not everyone can be, although in Kali Yuga it is a Kalao Sudra Sambhava, that everyone is a Sudra, but still some good qualities are there. There are some nice scientists like Einstein and Tesla and this guy, that guy. There are so many wonderful actors and actresses, people that have talent. There are so many, people with good qualities, but because they don't understand how to employ or how to apply those qualities, or where these qualities should be employed, therefore that's why the Varnashram system has completely collapsed. Okay, Prabhupada Prabhu has a nice comment, I think so. He always has beautiful comments.
Adding on to what you were saying, the general nature is there, but they don't have knowledge of the duties, and they don't have the qualities. But the general nature, that's what we're perceiving, and it's, so it's perverted reflection in that sense.
Yes, Prabhu, please.
There was a particular pastime, an incident that happened in the Srimad Bhagavatam is mentioned, that when King Vena was born, we know he was totally unqualified to do anything, totally below Sudra, you can say, demoniac. But the Brahmanas, seeing that no one was there to take care of the kingdom, they empowered him, they gave him that position. Later on, they themselves say, hey, this person is not doing the right thing, so they kill him by mantras. So sometimes blind uncle is better than not uncle, right? That's saying. And so, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees.